We have isolated severe thunderstorms for Central Florida today, but we're going to have an atmospheric river through Monday all the way to possibly Friday for the Pacific Northwest, and then eventually some snow for the upper Midwest. Good morning, I'm meteorologist Pewds, December 7th, 2025. So starting with the southeast, you guys have already been seeing some remnants of some showers and thunderstorms that's been passing through in places like Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina. And this is due to a stationary front that's continuously pursuing southward. So essentially what's happening is we have a high pressure somewhere around the southeast, and that's clockwise flow, bringing in that cold air from the north. And we also have a couple low pressure systems aligning with the stationary front. And with low pressures being counterclockwise flow, we're going to have a lot of southerly wind intersecting with that cold air coming from the north, creating this stationary front. Because when you have cold air and warm air interacting with each other, especially going against each other, you're going to have cold air sinking and then warm air rising. And because that lifting is consistent, this is why we're having this consistent line of thunderstorms. So with that being said, from the Florida Panhandle all the way to the eastern coastline, you're going to have thunderstorms pretty much throughout the morning into the late afternoon. And this is going to slowly travel southward. So around 6 p.m. Eastern time, places like Central Florida are going to see most of these thunderstorms. And the Storm Prediction Center did issue a marginal risk, or 1 out of 5 for severe weather, where there's an isolated risk to see a spin-up tornado and winds up to 60 miles per hour. And these storms are pretty much going to last throughout the late evening and will diminish by overnight. Now for yesterday's forecast, we just talked about the snowstorm that just hit the Midwest, and that created a couple inches of snow, and it's now currently in places like Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and a little bit more eastward. And this is only going to cause about 1 to 3 inches of snowfall. Now on the flip side, in the Pacific Northwest, our next biggest event is going to be an atmospheric river that's going to last pretty much through Monday and possibly Friday. For the past few days, the Weather Prediction Center has already been confident and issued a slight risk for flash flooding, or a 2 out of 4. Models are an indication, and we're going to expect a lot of heavy continuous rainfall throughout this week. And this is mostly going to be affecting the coastlines of Washington and Oregon, but also for the major cities such as like Portland and Seattle. For just Monday alone, to put things in perspective, the amount of rainfall that's going to occur, it's probably around 2 to 5 inches. So actually the biggest concern for flash flooding is going to be in the urban areas from Portland to Seattle and any other surrounding urban areas. So what's happening, if we look at 500 millibars of midwinter troposphere, looking at the Pacific, we're going to have this really strong and broad jet stream. So we're going to have a couple extra tropical cyclones in the north, or low pressure systems. But what's really happening is we're going to have a really strong high pressure off the coast of California, and this is going to be like the foundation of its shape. So all in all, what's really happening is we're having a lot of strong winds aloft, going to be transporting a crap ton of moisture into the Pacific Northwest region consistently. And this really broad system is going to be bringing a lot of snow for the places like the plains and the Midwest later on this week as well. So for today and tomorrow, we're going to have a couple teases of snow showers. So for example, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota, we're probably going to about see 1 to 2 inches of snow from this late morning into this evening. Same thing tomorrow around noon to midnight, places like the northern portions of North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and western Michigan may see about 1 to 3 inches of snow. But the next biggest snowstorm looks like it's going to occur in these same areas, North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and even Michigan from Tuesday to Wednesday, and it's looking more confident that we're going to see more than 4 inches of snowfall.